welcome all of you to the 2023 Ivy Football Media Day. As I said, interim head coach Mark Fabish. Also, we have wide receiver Marcus Libman and defensive back Seth Parker. So welcome to all of you. Coach, I'm going to start with you, if I can, and I'll ask you to give the kind of, I've been calling it the State of the Union address about Columbia moving forward, but I do want to start off with the retirement of Coach Al Bagnoli. I am very, very pleased to call him a personal friend. I tell the story often that and Mark, you might remember this, when he retired from Penn, and we honored him at our Ivy Football Association dinner that we do every 2 years. And, we get 1,000 former players, maybe more, show up there. And we talked about, and what I had said, and I've mentioned this before, I'm the vice chair of the National Football Foundation College Hall of Fame. I don't have a Hall of Fame vote, but I'm there. And I said, my sense is when it's time, when he's retiring, he's going to become a college football Hall of Famer. And then within months, he's back and he's running the program at Columbia. And Al did what Al does, and he brought that program back. He resurrected that program at Columbia, and he's done a lot of great things. And he decided for health reasons. Unfortunately, we're told he's good, but he's decided for health reasons at 70 was the time to step away. Give me your sense, and you've been with him for a while here, but give me your sense quickly of him as a coach, as a leader, as a human being.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, Jack, thanks so much for hosting, and I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. This has been a fun couple hours. I love Ivy League football, I love everything about it, and I benefit this year from the alphabet being flipped and starting with the Y, and I get to hear all the coaches and all the other players answer the questions. So I talked to Seth and Marcus a little bit earlier, and I told them, log on so you guys can get the answers to the questions before the test.
Good coaches know to learn from others.
Exactly. Right? And so I'm thrilled to be here, and would be remiss to not, before talking about Coach Bagnoli and what he's done for me, is to just wish nothing but the best to Coach Stevens on his road to recovery. Such a pioneer, forward-thinking, and a first-class competitor. And so you knew that no matter what the records were, whenever you played Dartmouth, that you'd have to strap it up, and it was just going to be a well-coached football team that we were lining up against. And wish him nothing but the best. And I know you've alluded to it, that if there's anybody that can come back from this thing, it is Coach Stevens. And so send from everyone associated with Columbia football, sending Coach nothing but the best. And then, to answer your question about Coach Bagnoli, I had the privilege of playing for him. I was part of his first recruiting class at Penn from 93 to 1996. And then, just a little bit of a testament to who he is as a leader of a program and leader of a staff, was I got into coaching soon thereafter and wanted nothing more than to go back to my alma mater as a coach. And the problem was that no one ever left. The staff was always intact. And it wasn't until 2009 that there was an opening, that there was an opportunity that I could go back. And ever since then have been along by his side, and have been witness to how he runs this thing. And we talk about the trajectory that he set this program in. And we took over a program in 2015 that hadn't had a lot of success. And you look at the last 5 years, and within the league, Princeton, Dartmouth, Yale, Columbia, those are the top 4 teams in wins. 4 of the last 5 seasons, we've had winning seasons. Only 3 Ivy League teams have done that: Princeton, Dartmouth, and Columbia. And so we're going in a good direction, and we want to keep that direction going. And that direction was set in place by Coach Bagnoli and his blueprint. And so we're going to follow it. We're going to work hard. And as I mentioned on a press conference the other day, our results are going to be a byproduct of the work that we do. And that's going to be hard work. We're going to come to practice every day. We're going to compete. Some of the players have alluded to it on this Zoom of iron sharpens iron. We're no different. We're going to compete against each other and push each other to be the best versions of ourselves for the 10 Saturdays where we have opportunities to play against somebody in a different color jersey.
Yeah. And I think that's a marvelous testimonial for Coach, and what he's done. Interesting. I think also a testimonial about the University of Pennsylvania, that people who were coaching there didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
They're like,
no
why would you?
question.
It's this great institution. I'm working for a great guy. I'm not going anywhere. But I'm sure he'd be the first one to say he was delighted to be able to bring you back into the fold, if you will, and
No,
position you for this.
I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Good. So let's talk about this upcoming season, right?
Sure.
And how you would characterize this. Focus a little bit on what you think the strengths of the team will be coming into the season, what you think they need to get better at to get where you want to be for this season.
Sure. Well, the strength of our team lies in our people. I think that's something that I truly believe in, and that people, meaning our players and our staff. The timing of this transition is what it is, and with 2 weeks to go, we had to get ready. And I've been fortunate to be able to lean on a phenomenal coaching staff in that preparation, and that's our assistant head coach John McLaughlin, our defensive coordinator Justin Stovall, our new offensive coordinator Joe Durazio, special teams coordinator Paul Rice, and then our players have been phenomenal. And so that's the strength of our team, is our people. You can look at statistics at what's coming back and what holes maybe we need to fill. We're going to find out a lot about that in the next couple of days when practice starts. I know this: our guys love each other, our guys care about each other, and our guys are going to work hard for each other. They are going to give everything they have for the guy sitting in the locker room next to them. And as long as that is consistent throughout, as long as we're aligned in our core values, we'll have a shot. We'll have a shot on those 10 Saturdays. If you want specific answers to your question, Jack, we got 2 quarterbacks that won 3 games last year as starters for us. Not a lot of people in the league can say that. We've got all conference players returning at skill positions. Our starting tight end is moving into offensive line. He's a big son of a gun that's going to do some really good things for us. And our defense plays their tails off for each other. And so we're going to build on those strengths and see where it takes us.
You mentioned the notion of let's call it luxury, because I think it is, of 2 quarterbacks who have won 3 games each there. Oftentimes, people will bemoan if you lose a quarterback, if you don't have the quality depth. You've heard people say that if you don't have a single quarterback, as opposed to a grouping of quarterbacks, that can be a detriment for you. But having watched both of these guys play last year, they each bring skills and talents. Give me a sense of the quarterbacks that we may well be seeing in this upcoming season. Yeah,
well, Joe Green, who was Ivy League Rookie of the Year in 2021, led us to a 7-3 record that season. Was the incumbent starter last year and came back and was 3-2 going into we were 3-2 going into the Penn game, and his shoulder was acting up. We ended up making a change at halftime. And the beauty of the situation was that Caden Bell, who took over in that role, prepared every day like he was the starter. And so that when he came in, we didn't skip a beat. And the guys rallied around him. His first 2 starts didn't go as we had hoped, but in typical Columbia fashion, we moved forward and we got better. And we found ways over the next 3 weeks, Harvard, Brown, and Cornell, to come up on the proper side of the ledger from our perspective. And so Caden and Joe both deserve the opportunity to earn that spot. And it is, like you mentioned, it's a luxury, but it's going to be something that I look forward to the competition come 4 days from now, 5 days from now, when we ultimately get to go back out there. Competition is good, but competition isn't always offense against defense. It's within our own position groups. And that's something that's going to be exciting to see. And we talk all the time about great teams have great teammates, and I love how they support each other. And we just their friendship and their camaraderie is tremendous. And I look forward to seeing that to continue to grow, regardless of who lines up under center against Lafayette.
That's a great expression that works for everything in life, that great teams have great teammates.
Yes, sir.
And if guys come away from the program with that in mind, they're clearly going to be successful. How about on the defensive side of the ball? Columbia's had the great benefit of some really good playmakers over the
Sure.
last years, guys who, not just first team All Ivy players, but guys who you could count on to make plays.
Yeah.
Talk about the defense this season.
Well, I think, and a perfect example of what you're talking about, Jack, we played a great game against Dartmouth, and unfortunately when the clock hit 0, they had a couple more points than us, but key situation, we needed to play, and sophomore defense lineman at the time, Justin Townsend, ran down their quarterback, caused a sack fumble, gave us the ball back, and gave us the opportunity to win the football game. And Justin's back for his junior year, and I think he is. And any number of guys, whether it be Justin and Pat Passalacqua, Ben Corniello up front, Anthony Russo, CJ Brown on the second level. We're going to have an opportunity to listen to Seth here, but Seth in the back end with Aaron Brebner and a couple of guys like that. Our core values are effort, accountability, team, and effort is 6 seconds all out every time. And that's what our defense does. Coach Stovall gets our guys to play, and you don't know when it's going to be you. Before that play, Justin Townsend didn't know, but he played his butt off for 6 seconds. And when the opportunity arose, he made the play. And it's a testament to our coaches, but it's also a testament to the buy-in of our guys and how much they believe in each other and believe in what we're speaking with them about on a daily basis.
Let me bring Marcus and Seth into the conversation. And Marcus, let me start with you. And first observation is you got the best backdrop going right now for anybody that we've had on this conversation. We got a serious Columbia Lion there behind you. Yes, so you're gonna get some points for doing some staging here to get the best looking backdrop for this conversation.
Appreciate that.
Let's talk some. Ask you to elaborate a little bit on what Coach was talking about in terms of the offense here. And let's focus on the quarterback position. Obviously, you need somebody to get you the ball. And in watching the two quarterbacks last year, you saw some different skills, some similar skills. You didn't see a drop off when you went to the number 2 guy that sometimes you see, where sometimes the number 2 guy takes the field, and what you're saying is, okay, well, I know he's trying hard, but I see why he's the number 2. And covering the team, you didn't see that. So differences, different skills. So coming into this season, what's your expectation of the production that you think you can get out of that quarterback position, regardless of who's there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Coach Fabish said, is they're both talented guys. And I think the best part for us in this offense is coming in these 4 days and at this camp, we're just going to compete and we're just going to have fun. Both these guys compete so hard. They have great attitudes and they're both leaders and everybody respects them. And even like what he said, like Joe's a phenomenal quarterback, but Caden's just been working as hard as he's been a starter throughout the whole season. So and I think even when Caden came into the game, everybody on the team nobody was worried. Everybody, like, when you get that second string quarterback coming in, everybody's like, oh, like, all right, here we go. But no, nobody's worried about Caden. He brings the attitude, he brings the energy. Joe's one of our leaders on the team. He's a captain. Everybody looks up to him. So I think it's just going to be a lot of fun in camp, especially for myself and the receivers as well as just they're going to want to compete. They're going to want to throw the ball down the field, and we're going to have some fun for sure.
And it's funny, you've watched Columbia over the years. I was like, I could go back to my era when I was playing, but it always looked like if you're a wide receiver, Columbia was a fun place to play. There were going to be balls in the air, and you're going to get a chance to look good week in and week out with that kind of offense. That you anticipate this year also?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We got a new OC, Coach D'Orazio, and we've got all the trust and all the confidence into him. And even with Coach Fabish there's no drop off at all. Coach Magnolia was a legendary coach, and having him on the sideline and just helping us out as well will be awesome. But yeah, we're excited. Coach D'Orazio has a ton of knowledge. He graduated from an Ivy League school as well. And yeah, we just expect to throw the ball down the field. Our flight crew is what we call ourselves for our wide receivers, and just our running backs, our tight ends, our O-line, everybody's experienced. So we're ready to have some fun and do some damage for sure.
Yeah. And Seth, let's talk about the other side of the ball. All right. Coming into this season and looking back on last season was a good year, 6-4. There most colleges out there would say, man, I'd love to be 6-4. Columbia was 6-4 with a whole series of injuries during the course of the season. So it's not as if, somebody threw a shutout against you guys all last season. So they had success. Coming into this season, looking at how the defense played last year, what are you envisioning that the defense needs to do maybe better than they did last year to be where you want them to be?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's a culture thing on our side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. Day in and day out, we're never satisfied. It's a saying that Coach Stovall has, is a reflection of what we do, is shows how we're committed to the process, essentially. And so day in and day out, we're committed to putting in that 1%, getting 1% better each day. And then in regards to last season, I believe that execution is key. We have a lot of talent that was displayed last season, but an essential part of growing and getting better is executing each play, formations, play recognition. So integrating that, I believe, will take us to the next level in regards to the run game, pass game, and everything in between.
Let me ask you to do something that I've asked some of the other defensive players to do, and that is to give us a scouting report on your own offense, right? So if you're looking at the Columbia offense and you're saying, in order to stop these guys, in order to beat these guys, here's what we have to do, or what we have to take away from them, what would your assessment be?
Of course, we get the luxury of having a great offense, very talented players, both in the run and pass game. So it's great. The saying iron sharpens iron that everybody has alluded to. But one thing that I think stands out is obviously our air attack. So being a DB, I have firsthand exposure to that. So getting the exposure to that in practice, seeing that if we can manage that, I think we have an edge going into the weekend, going into the game. So that's a luxury that we have in practice. And we have great outside receivers, slot receivers. So getting that in practice battles definitely gets us an edge going into, like I said, the weekend and whatever opponent we have that week.
Right. Marcus, let me come back to you and ask you the same question. Right. So your scouting report that you would put together for the Columbia defense, and you'd say, all right, here's how they're going to be hard to attack. What would you point to?
Yeah, well, like Coach Fabish also said, is they work so well together and their community so strong. I think Seth is a great leader, obviously, on the backfield in the secondary position. He just gets everybody going. Everybody's so experienced and they're well coached. And I think everybody's just motivated. Playing in New York City, in the middle of New York City, it's a dream. And we're motivated every day to come to practice, to have fun and just play together and compete every single day at camp or whatever. And that will bring us to Saturdays and play hard. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Coach, let's start from you if I can. It's something that I have asked some of the other coaches, and you're a guy who has the perspective of having played in this league, having coached at various places in this league. And as we mentioned in the introduction, we're delighted that we're continuing the partnership, the Ivy League with ESPN, 6 primetime games, nationally televised games. Most of them are Friday nights. That gives us essentially, we've got the real estate almost to ourselves on Friday nights. Sure. So from your perspective, then talk about and I think we've got you guys, the first game of the package, as a matter of fact,
At Princeton, yes, sir.
Down at Princeton. So talk from your perspective as a coach, the value of the national exposure for the Columbia program.
Well, all these schools, you look at our rosters, they're littered with student athletes from all across the country. And so it makes us tangible to them in the recruiting process, that they get a firsthand look. And you've alluded to it a few times in these conversations, Jack, of the quality of the product that shows up on those Friday nights. And so I think it shows guys that this is legit, and not only is it legit, but I can play on ESPN and get an Ivy League degree. And it just makes it so much more, I think it, for lack of a better term, makes it tangible to them. And it's great exposure. We've had the opportunity to play last year. We played the league champion Yale, and we hung for the first half. And the year before that, we went to the defending champ and played at Dartmouth and performed well that night. And now we're going down to Princeton, and it's going to be a great start to our season. We have two great opponents leading up to it, but it's going to be a phenomenal barometer for where the program is at. And there's no better place to do it than on national TV.
And I'll share with you the notion of just we're a visual society. right?
Sure.
Everything we do or think is someplace. And the visual impact, I've said, when we've done games from Columbia, and you've got the Hudson River as your backdrop there, and you have now, how the facilities and how they've been so dramatically improved in the stadium and Kraft Field, and then you show that just down the road is Wall Street and the opportunities, even if it's not finance in anything, that are the opportunities that are there.
Yeah.
For people who decide I want to play my football at Columbia. It's and I don't mean to be beating the ESPN drum, but I guess I kind of am. That I would think from a coaching perspective, it's like this is an invaluable tool to
Oh
show,
my gosh.
hey, look at who we are, right?
No doubt about it.
And look
No
at
doubt
the
about
rest of these 8 Ivy League institutions. Look at who we are, and say then, why wouldn't you want to come play football here, right?
it. No doubt. And the great part about the Friday night games too is the Visual Society. Coach Taylor, our receivers coach, picks out our uniforms for all the games. And so he always says a good one. He says a good one for the ESPN game.
Yeah, we've mentioned that.
See what he breaks out for the Princeton one.
What are they coming out with tonight, right?
Yes, exactly.
To take advantage of this. Again, one of the things of it's people call it the fashion capital of the world. Well,
That's
where
it.
you guys are.
Greatest city on earth, Jack.
Indeed. All right. Hey, Coach, it's a pleasure talking to you. And again, give my best to Al.
I will for
Tell him we'll
sure.
miss him. I'm sure we will see him there. And Marcus and Seth, it's nice meeting you two and having conversations with you. So good luck to all of you down the road, and we'll see you at that game, that opening game for the ESPN package down at Princeton. Right?
Yes,
Everybody
sir.
be well.
Appreciate all
Thank
you
you.
do for the league, Jack. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you,
Marcus.
sir.
Take care now.
All right, let's go.